And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. It's a brand new year, brand new season for Davenport athletics and Davenport football, of course, getting ready to open up the season this weekend in Erie, Pennsylvania against Gannon University. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach. Sparky McEwen is here. We'll visit with him, talk a little bit about the team and their preseason practices, and now they're getting ready to play for real. Then we've got a special guest, Latrell Scott, a linebacker, a junior linebacker, will be joining us in the middle section. Then we'll come back and we'll take a closer look at this week's opponent, the Gannon Golden Knights from Erie, PA, as we mentioned a little bit here. Coach, right now the guys are probably tired about hitting against each other. They're ready to hit somebody else, I would think, by now.
Well, it's good to be back with you. And I think I need to tell you congratulations on being inducted into the Grand Rapids Hall of Fame. That is an amazing honor, and you deserve it all, my man.
Thank you very much. You knew me. You knew me when, back in the days when I was covering you doing high school basketball at Creston High.
Well, actually, I was a player of the week as a sophomore in football when we did an interview, and that was back in 1984, I think it was.
Wow.
So I'm dating both of us, and it's been an amazing ride with you, man. And like I said, man, hats off to you, to the GOAT, and I'm excited to do this with you again. We're excited. We're excited to get out of camp. You know, this has been something that every coach in America, every student body that's an athlete in America, it's a grind. It's tough because you see each other all the time. There's not other student athletes on campus, and, you know, you just kind of get tired of each other. You know, you got 1 month, you know, to get a chance to know and meet your new teammates and find out, you know, interesting things about each other. And then on top of that, you know, you got to learn schemes, and, you know, it's hot outside, you know, so there's a lot of people that's aggravated, you know, daily. But we're very, very excited about moving forward and having this opportunity to go play an outstanding and well-coached team in Gannon.
Sparky, I want to ask you right away something that I get asked regularly by other football fans, and that is, we all know that the transfer portal has turned Division I football upside down. It's a whole new game, and people ask me all the time, how much does that affect at the Division II level? The same, more, less? What is it?
Well, it's affected it tremendously. You know, it's given places like Davenport University an opportunity to compete on a national stage. And I'm very proud of what we've built at Davenport University, and we've positioned ourselves to you know, to fight as a top 25 team, you know, in America, you know, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, we do get our high school kids here, and on top of that, we're able to fill in the gaps with, you know, some deficiencies with, you know, bringing in some portal kids. And NIL, transfer portal, it's a new day and age in college football, and I absolutely love it. I love it. I love, you know, it's a new deal now, okay? And coaching has changed, you know, and if you don't understand that side of it, you probably want to get out this game, because it's not going back to the way that it was, okay? The genie's out of the bottle, and it's only going to continue to go in a different direction from here.
7-4 last year with 3 losses to teams that were in the top 11 in the nation in Division II football. So those games, a couple of them could have turned, you know, with a little better second half, fourth quarter in particular. And so there's encouragement going into this year, even though you lost a lot of talented players.
You know, I had a chance to think about this, and we're probably, without a doubt, in my mind, the most disrespected, you know, program that's a winner. Okay, last year we played a very good Central Missouri team that, by a couple publications, that was picked to win a national championship last year. And the effort that we gave them, their quarterback, you know, had his poorest effort against a tough defense that we had. You know, we played against a very good, you know, Grand Valley team that just come off back-to-back GLIAC championships, and we know how well respected they are. We go out and we play those types of teams really hard, and then we go out against, you know, the national champions 3 of the last 4. And, man, our boys went out and played their tails off and came up short in that one. And then Saginaw, you know, Saginaw, as advertised, we've gone back and forth with Saginaw the last, 7 years. It's been a great battle, and we're right there. But, I tell the boys all the time, you'll get your respect once you, obviously hoist the GLIAC championship, and that's a goal of ours. We want to do that, and our guys believe in what we're doing. They believe in our culture. They believe in each other. And we know that in order to get the respect that we want, you got to just go out and take it.
Unusual schedule for the Panthers this year. Start out with 3 road games with 1 bye week in between. Then your home opener isn't until September 25th and a Thursday night. Then you have another road game there at Grand Valley. So 4 of your first 5 away from home. You guys have had some road warrior mentality before, but you're really going to need it this year.
Scheduling has been tough. Myself, along with Mr. Lau and our AD, both of us have made calls to numbers and numbers of universities to try to solidify multi-year deals, and it's tough. This conference is tough, and mad respect, goes out to the teams that we compete against. But our players know and understand when you're in this division, in this conference, it's going to be tough to sign on to teams. Last year we had 7 away games. This year, the first 5 weeks, we're out there 4 or 5 weeks, we're on the road, so it's going to be tough sledding for us. And my hopes is that my boys are mature enough to, take it game by game and play hard, stay healthy. And once the smoke clears, hopefully we're in a good place, after these 5 weeks of the season, because on that back half, we spent a lot of time at Farmers, so getting to that point, though, it's going to be tough.
Schematically, last year about 55-45%, 55% passing yards, 45% rushing. Where do you want that number to be, and where does this team look like it's trending as far as percentage-wise of yardage on offense, passing versus rushing?
We had the back of the year last couple years in Myron Harris, and man, Myron was one of my all-time favorites. Love that kid, and he did just a heck of a job for us, and he made it a little easier for us when it came to throwing the football. That number, I'm fine with. I'm fine with. We have the ability in our offense. If we need to throw it, every down we will. If we are in position where our offensive line can get control of things and we can run the football, we will run it. And our offense understands that we'll have games like that where we have to be very unselfish and we have to go out and do what we need to do and what the game calls for in order to win. Our guys are prepared to win, whether it's a 1-point game to, something a lot higher than that. We're willing to do whatever it takes, to win the football game.
You mentioned the offensive line. That's been a challenge for you some years. This year seems a little deeper than you've had it in some time.
Yes, correct. But, since we've had a tough camp, we've lost a couple guys, that now we got some youngsters that needs to step up and play big. And going into the season, as you know, I was really excited about our offensive line, and I still am, But anytime you lose some of your student athletes to, some of the injuries, and every team deals with it, it just makes it a little tougher. But it's the next man up, and we have faith in some of our youngsters. We were hoping our youngsters had a little time to learn, but they've been thrust, into duty here, especially this early in the season.
You've had a few good quarterbacks here in your days here, but I don't know that you've had the depth with Dwan Mathis and Mac Vandenhout, both who were key contributors at quarterback last year at different points of the season. So, again, you got a 1-2 punch there between Mathis and Vandenhout.
We do. But, last year we had Michael O'Hara, which is another one of the young guys that I had the opportunity to coach last year. He split time with Dwan. That was a good core of quarterbacks, but now we're even that much deeper. Grant Thwaites, man, has put his time in, and he's been very, very – he's been hit with, a rash of injuries over the course of his time here. But when you have a seasoned veteran like that in your lineup as well, he's a young man that'll play on special teams, and he'll play at the quarterback position as well. And then, we've got Christian. Christian Johnson has come over from Grand Valley, and he's gotten himself into the quarterback mix. So I feel like this is the deepest athletic room I've had, and I've got a couple of young freshman quarterbacks that we brought in, and we're excited. Scheme-wise, we're going to be a little different than what we've been in the past, and I'm just glad that now we have all the type of athletes that I like at that quarterback position.
In the wide receiver room, you lost some real talent there, led by Preston Smith, gone as well. But you do get Meach Garrett back, who missed virtually the entire year last year with an injury.
We do. You know, we lost all of our skill. We lost all of our receivers. We lost all of our running backs. But one of the guys that did return was Meach. Having him return, you know, last year going in, he was going to be a 1-2 punch there with, Preston. And he sustained just a nasty injury, but he's back. But through the transfer portal, we were able to go out and probably have now our deepest receiving room, you know, but they got to prove it. You know, those guys come in as transfers, and you now have to show us what you can do on the field because the GLIAC is tough week in and week out, and they have great secondaries, and it's tough secondaries. And so our guys have got to come in and be able to block and run routes and get off the press and go against these bigger, tougher, faster DBs.
One of those receivers transferring in, Keontae Nixon from Roosevelt University, who was a pain in our keister a couple of times we played them.
Yeah. He was a pain for everybody in this league. As you know, he led the league in receiving.
Yeah.
You know, and we were fortunate enough to, have Kendall Williams and Preston as all conference, GLIAC performers as receivers. And then Keontae led the league in receiving yards and receptions. And to have him and to acquire him, via the transfer portal was a big, big, big plus for us. And then we've got a couple other guys in addition to him as well as Meach. So I feel like that we've been able to plug in where those other guys left off. But now they have to perform on the field to show us that they were who they were coming into this portal.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a little time out here. We're going to visit with one of your outstanding linebackers, Charles Scott. Come back a little bit later. We'll talk about the opponent this week in Gannon University. We'll roll. We continue with the Davenport Coaches Show. Uccello's in Caledonia. Boy, you want to stop out here, and what a great time, great food, great service. They've got some fantastic TVs everywhere you look. There's about 50 TVs here, large screen, small screen, medium screen, everything. But the food is tremendous, and the folks always enjoy it. It's a great time, great food. Stop out Uccello's in Caledonia. Our next guest, Latrell Scott, a linebacker from the Chicago area, went to Simeon Academy, a legendary athletic school there in the Windy City, a 6', 235-pound redshirt junior. Played in all 11 games last year, and he was second on the team with 55 tackles. Latrell, let's first ask you how you assessed your year last year, some things you did well, maybe something that you really want to get better at this year.
Last year, that was like my first year starting all 11 games. And I feel like as the season went on, I continued to get better. But, like, when I first started, I was pretty nervous and had, like, different types of – like, it was a different feeling coming from high school to college. And I was just adjusting as the years went by, as the season went on. Some things I'm looking forward to is taking the next step, like being the leader. And last year I felt like I personally missed a couple tackles and stuff that I could have made. So taking that next step as a football player and as a leader is something I've been focusing on this year.
Latrell, you mentioned high school. Again, you went to Simeon Academy in Chicago, played under Dante Culbreth. Tell us what Coach Culbreth taught you as a player and maybe as a person.
Coach Culbreth, that was one of the coaches. He taught life lessons, and one thing that stuck with me is that don't take nothing for granted. Playing college football is coming from where I come from is very rare. Everybody don't get the chance, so every opportunity, make sure to take full advantage of. It's something that I live by every day.
Hey, you won a city championship in Chicago. That's no small feat. That has to be satisfying, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the start of. I won that as a sophomore, so it was pretty young, but I was able to contribute, and it felt really good.
Last year, not only did you start all 11 games, but you also were top 10 in the league in tackles tackles for loss, TFLs. That's a big part of your game, TFLs, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the key to getting a tackle for loss?
It all starts up front with my D-line. They create them seams and gaps to make it easy for us to trigger. And film study as well, watching film study as a whole, my coaches, other LBs. Just basically my team makes me better, and that's something that we big on at Davenport. I am because we are because I am. That's something that we live by every day. So without my teammates, that wouldn't even be possible.
So tell us about your family back in the Chicago area.
Growing up, my family, everything was very family oriented. So it helped me become a better person because it helps me. I'm becoming closer with my teammates. So it helped me treat others like family. So my family, I do most everything I do is for my family, because that's how I was raised.
What did you work on this summer individually before you went to camp?
Some things I worked on last year. This year I worked on pass coverage. I felt like I was slacking a little bit with my pass coverage skills, and also tackling, tracking the hip, just taking them steps, and most of all, like I said, leadership, taking them steps, getting out of my shell, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You're a Cleveland Browns fan. Not a good time to be a Cleveland Browns fan, huh? You go way back with them?
No. So the Cleveland Browns, I was actually one of my favorite players play for the Cleveland Browns. So wherever he went, it's more of a favorite player instead of.
Who was that?
I like Myles Garrett and I like Deshaun Watson.
All right. Let's talk about this team. Coach talked about the long grind of summer camp, and you guys are probably, you especially as a linebacker, you're ready to hit somebody in a different uniform, aren't you?
Yes, it's been a long grind, but I won't take none of it for granted. And this camp ain't gonna do nothing but make us better. Camp is where we practice so much for 11 opportunities, so we cannot take advantage of those.
Latrell, you're a sport management major at Davenport. What are you thinking about doing with your life after your football days are done, whenever that happens?
I honestly want to get into coaching. So, once I'm done, I plan on becoming the GA.
You thinking? So you want to be a college coach?
Yeah.
Would you like to go back to the Chicago area? Or are you willing to go anywhere?
I'm willing to go anywhere.
Who's your best friends on the team right now, and what do you do in your spare time away from football?
I love all my brothers equally.
Oh, what a great answer. Beautiful answer.
And some things I like to do other than football, with my teammates, we tend to play the game or play other sports like basketball, of course during the off season, but lifting weights and working out. But yeah, that's really it.
Pretty good basketball player? Did you play in high school?
No, I didn't play in high school because Simeon is super big on basketball.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you played for Simeon in basketball, I know you were good.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, what are your goals team-wise for this team this year?
We big on championships, GLIAC championship, national championship. So that's the main goal, to win.
Well, Latrell, great having you here. Thanks. It's great. You've been a great addition to the team. Again, played in all 11 games last year, second on the team in tackles, and I should mention, too, this young man, all academic last year. That's got to be a source of pride for you.
Yeah.
Think back to your days, both at high school and even farther back, was there one person along the line who really inspired you to become the person you are, or player you are, or the person especially, that really maybe affected you, where a light went off in your head because of that person? Who would that be?
It would be my granny that passed away. Everything I do, like one of my slogans that I live by is I do it for Ann, and that's my granny, so everything I do is for her. So, like, she's living through me now. Every day I wake up, I got a picture of her, and, like, she gives me the motivation and drive to do what I need to do.
That's great. Granny's watching us right now, isn't she?
Yeah.
Great to see that. Latrell Scott, thanks for stopping by.
Thank
Go
you.
get some of this great Uccello's food now, okay?
All right, okay, thank you.
All right. We'll come back with more of the Davenport Coaches Show in just a moment here from Uccello's in Caledonia. Segment of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Hope you enjoyed our visit with Latrell Scott, nice young man from the Windy City. Great to visit with him. Coach Sparky McEwen joins us right now. In the final segment, we always turn our sights to this week's opponent. And this week's opponent is our very first game of the year at Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania, Saturday afternoon at 12 noon Michigan time. And if you want to follow the game and follow our broadcast, meaning my broadcast Saturday, you got to go to dupanthers.com or dupanthers.com. Go to the schedule, and you'll see the options to follow it. You can follow it on video or audio, the little audio speaker. But if you go to the video screen, you're going to get their announcers. And I'm not going to tell you they're as good as your announcers. I'm not going to tell you that because it's not true. But if you want to hear our call, our Davenport slanted call, you got to go to the speaker, and then you can hear that. But Coach joins us right now to talk about the Gannon Golden Knights. 3-7 last year were the Knights. 3-3 though in the PSAC. That's a good record, league record. They had 3 games, Sparky, that of their 7 losses that they either led or were tied in the final 2.5 minutes and lost those 3 games. So that's a little deceptive.
Yeah, they had some things happen last year, within their schedule that in those games where it could have gone either way. And, that's part of football, and that's part of, this new era of recruiting and the portal and things like that. And, they lost a few good players, but Coach is already, he's already adapted well to the transfer portal, and he's brought in a number of players that can obviously help them surpass, that win total from last year. And Coach has done this for a long time. He's done this for a long time, and he knows what he's doing. So some of these players that they have attracted to their roster, we've checked these guys out. They've got some football players there. They've got some football players, and we're going to have our hands full, and then, they got a couple new additions to their staff, so we really don't know exactly what they're going to be doing, scheme-wise. So, going into a game like that blind, you just want to play good, strong base, fundamental football, and in hopes that by the time that second half rolls around, we got a good understanding of what they're trying to achieve.
Gannon in the PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, a good football league, and it's a good, I think, for your program to play teams from outside the region in terms of getting ready for the rest of the season.
One thing about the GLIAC with the limited teams that we have, we have those open dates and options to be able to go out and play other teams. All the GLIAC teams, for the most part, will be active in this week 0. I was so happy that we got the week 0 because we were able to, fill the roster. The schedule with Gannon. And they'll come back to us next year, So we're pleased, because we've gone to the NSIC. And with the playoff change, now the NSIC is a part of our region. as well as the GMAC, as well as the GOVC. And that's really, really important as we move forward, because you get extra points when it comes to playoffs if you compete against those teams in your region.
You mentioned that they did lose a lot of players to the portal, but one guy they've got back, key man, Tank Mason, a wide receiver. He was freshman of the year his freshman year. He's a senior now, but he had a big season, 115 career receptions, and he'll be a point of emphasis for your defense, I'm sure.
Yes, he's a good leader for them as well. He's a lightning rod. He's a guy that can score at any time, so we've got to be aware of all times where he's at. And they brought in a few transfers. One, being a quarterback, that's a Division I transfer, that we feel like he's going to, do well, at this level and in that conference, so hands are going to be full there. And offensive line-wise, they return a few starters there as well. The backfield, one thing I can tell you about, their head coach is that they're going to be able to run the football. Okay, they're going to be able to run the football, and they're going to be tough. So offensively, I really feel like there's definitely some things there, and they're going to do everything they can to get the ball to Tank. Because he is a player. You
mentioned the coach, Eric Rayburn, his 5th year heading the program, but his 24th year head overall. He had a few stops from before there. So he's going to have his team ready to play. Let's talk a little bit about the travel plans, when you'll leave, where you'll stay, and how that builds up to Saturday afternoon's opener.
Well, this early in the year, the positive is that we finally get to play. The negative is that, it's a good trip. It's a good trip that, we must take to the great state of Pennsylvania. And I like getting the boys away. We're going to get away. We're going to get out of here and get ready to go and have a tough, football game. And we treat them well on the road, and we'll leave out of here in the next couple of days and make sure that we get over there safely, and get comfortable, because like I said, it's going to be a tough, football game.
We touched on the offensive line and its strengths this year before you had a few injuries, but they're still going to looking pretty good. What other positions do you feel good about in the position area?
Our defense, when you think of Davenport football, you think of, our defense. Our defense comes out, and they've been able to keep us competitive, during my tenure here, and I feel really good about that group over there, even though we've got a number of new additions to our secondary and a number of new additions to our D-line, because we graduated some guys on the D-line that was legit, and we got a couple guys, that's got to show us that they could do it in the GLIAC and do it at this Division II level. At the linebacking core, we come back with some vets at that position. We got three of them, namely, that are veterans, and it's their turn. It's their turn to step up and lead us, to do the right things. And I've always said this, and how I feel about my D-line. Okay. You've got to have a D-line in order to compete in the GLIAC, And the thing I like about us this year is we're a little deeper, okay? Having that depth, in this league where they're going to pound the rock, you got to be able to take that physicality of the GLIAC, So having the number of guys that we have coming back on top of some of the additions that we have, I think that, if we keep them healthy, we could be pretty tough.
Austin Stief, one of the members of that defensive line core that you're looking for big things from.
Agent Zero, that's what we call him. Agent Zero. He's changed his number, and he's come back. He's picked up, a lot of muscle. He's faster, and I love my Floridians. And we got him back here, and he looks amazing, and he's ready to roll. He is ready to roll.
All right, Coach, we're going to be back here 1 week from tonight here and every Tuesday night throughout the football season to talk a little bit and hopefully rehashing a Panther victory in the opener at Gannon Saturday.
It would be nice. We're celebrating the 10th season. This is our 9th as this regime of my staff, but it's the 10th year of Davenport football. We're going to have some nice things that we're going to celebrate throughout the season, and you and I having some great conversations. And thank you for your help, with acknowledging some of these young men and these teams that we've had in the past. So I'm excited about this year, man. I'm excited about this group. I'm excited about this staff, and we're just ready to spot the ball.
All right, we will talk more about that down the road with this 10th year of Davenport football. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to our special guest, Latrell Scott, and thanks to our technical, brilliant production crew. Austin, Savannah, and Ryan, or Justice make that. Justice, Savannah, and Ryan for their outstanding technical expertise. And thanks to Coach Sparky McEwen. I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday night right here at Utelos of Caledonia, and go Panthers.